So today we are going to learn the next optical instrument, that is a simple microscope. So what is a simple microscope? Simple microscope is nothing but a magnifying glass. So magnifying glass is nothing but a convex lens having a short focal length which will be held very close to eye, and we will get a magnified image of the object which you intend to see. So now let us look at the working principle of this simple microscope. So now we are going to consider the two sections over here. First section we are going to consider when the final image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision, and in the second case we are going to consider when the final image is formed at infinity. So let us start with the first one, that is when final image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision. So we are already aware what is least distance of distinct vision, that is the minimum distance from the eye at which the eye can see the objects clearly and distinctly without any strain on the eye, is called as the least distance of distinct vision. And for a normal eye, this least distance of distinct vision is going to be 25 centimeter. So the image, the final image of this simple microscope is going to form at the least distance of distinct vision. So here I have considered a convex lens having a short focal length, and I am going to consider an object which is placed between the focus and the optical center. So let us say that the focus of this convex lens that I have considered is over here, and O is the optical center. So my object will be placed in between the focus and the optical center of this convex lens. So let me draw my object over here. Let us say that the name of the object is AB. So AB is the object placed between the focus F and the optical center O. So since the object is kept over here within the focal length, the image which will be formed is going to be virtual, erect and magnified, okay, on the same side of the lens as that of the object. So how do we draw it? So let's draw the rays now. So a ray which is going parallel to the principal axis would pass through the focus on the other side. So if this is the focus, this ray is going to pass through the focus on the other side with the arrow. Arrows are very important. And another ray which is going to pass straight through the optical center, something like this. Again we need to draw proper arrows. So if you produce this backwards, if you produce this line backwards, you are going to get the image right there behind. Okay, so this is going to be something like this. So here you are going to get a erect, virtual and a magnified image that is on the same side as that of the object. So let us say that this is B double dash A double dash over here. So this is how you are going to get your image. So since the normal eye can see an object clearly at the least distance of distinct vision, that is 25 centimeter for a normal eye, the position of the lens will be so adjusted that the final image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision from the lens. So the position of this object will be such that the distance at which the image is formed, okay, is going to be the least distance of distinct vision. That is, for a normal eye it is going to be 25 centimeters. So this is going to be your capital D. So now let us define the magnifying power of this simple microscope when the final image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision. So the magnifying power is defined as the ratio of angle subtended by the image and the object at the eye when both are at least distance of distinct vision from the eye. So if my image as well as object is placed at the least distance of distinct vision, then the ratio of the angle subtended by the image and the object at the eye is going to be your magnifying power of that simple microscope. So again we'll write it in the formula form. So magnifying power, that is magnification, okay, is going to be equal to angle subtended by image at least distance of distinct vision, I will put it as capital D, divided by angle subtended by object at the same distance, that is least distance of distinct vision. Now as the eye is held very close to the lens, the angle subtended by the lens may be taken as the angle subtended by the eye. So your eye will be somewhere over here. Draw the eye somewhere over here. So this is going to be your eye. This is going to be your eye. So you'll be watching from here. So since you will be watching it from very much close from the lens, the angle subtended by the lens over here with the image as well as object can be considered as the angle subtended at the eye. Okay, that is the assumption we are going to make over here. So which are the angles to choose now? So angle subtended by the image, angle subtended by the image is going to be this angle. So from the lens it is going to be this angle over here. So let us call this angle as beta, okay, at the least distance of distinct vision. And the angle subtended by the lens by the object, okay, at the least distance of distinct vision. So what I'll do over here, I will shift this object at the least distance of distinct vision. So I'll shift the object to the same length. So I'll shift it to the same length. Let it be dotted. So this is my object shifted, that is, let's say A double dash B double dash. Okay, so we have taken this double dash. Let's make this single dash. Okay, so this is A double dash point over here. So I have shifted my object at the least distance of distinct vision because I want the angle subtended by the object at least distance of distinct vision. So the angle subtended is going to be, let me join this line too. Over here, let this be dotted again. Okay, so the angle subtended by the object from the lens, okay, at least distance of distinct vision is going to be this angle. Let us say that this angle over here is alpha. Okay, so if you see, the magnifying power is the ratio of the angle subtended by the image. So image is subtending an angle of beta, okay, and the object is subtending an angle of alpha, okay, when both are at least distance of distinct vision. Both I have kept at the distance of D, that is 25 centimeter for a normal eye. Okay, so let us put it in the formula now. So angle subtended by image at D is going to be equal to, beta, and the angle subtended by the object at D is going to be alpha. So now since they are very small angle, alpha and beta are going to be small angles, we can consider them as tan of beta and tan of alpha, because alpha and beta are going to be small angles. Okay, so we can approximate them, their value, as tan of beta and tan of alpha. So let us write down the ratios now. So tan of beta, if you see the triangle AOB, this triangle AOB, tan of beta is going to be equal to, I will write over here, tan of beta is going to be equal to opposite, that is AB, upon adjacent, that is OB, divided by tan of alpha. So if you consider this triangle over here, O A double dash B dash. Okay, O A double dash B dash. So if you consider tan of alpha, it is going to be opposite, that is A double dash B dash upon the adjacent side, that is O B dash. So this is going to be the ratio you are going to get over here. Okay, so if you see A double dash B dash, that is this term over here, is same as AB because it is nothing but the height of the object, so we can replace it with the height of object. So this is going to be AB divided by OB divided by A double dash B can be replaced as AB because it is having the same height, it is nothing but the object height, divided by OB dash. So if you see, AB and AB is going to cancel out over here. Okay, and what we are going to get is OB dash, this will go in the numerator, divided by OB. So applying the sign convention over here, OB dash is nothing but D. So applying the sign convention, we are going to measure all the distances from the optical center. So we are going opposite to incident ray, and since we are going opposite to incident ray, the distance is going to be negative. So OB dash is going to be minus D divided by OB. Again, you are going from the optical center against the incident light, so distance is going to be negative, and OB is nothing but the object distance. So let us consider OB is X. Let us consider this distance OB is X, so it is going to be minus X. So the magnifying power will be equal to what in this case? The magnifying power M is going to be D upon X, that is distance, least distance of distinct region, divided by the distance at which the object is placed. Now let us consider that F is the focal length of this length which is used, the convex lens which is used. So if F is the focal length, so let F be the focal length of the convex lens which is used, and the image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision. So the image distance, that is V, is going to be capital D. Okay, and since the image is formed on the same side of the object, on this side itself, image is formed on this side itself, this D will be taken as negative because we are again starting from the optical center and going against the incident ray, so it is going to be minus D. So image is formed at D, so image distance is taken as minus D using the sign convention. So if we use the thin lens formula, okay, so if we use the thin lens formula, we will get what? So using thin lens formula, we know 1 upon V minus 1 upon U is equal to 1 upon F. So what is 1 upon V? So V we have taken as minus D, so this is going to be 1 upon minus D minus 1 upon U. Now U we have taken as X. The object distance is taken as X over here, that is BO. Okay, and X is going to be negative by using the sign convention because it is on the left side of the lens. So it is going to be minus X is equal to 1 upon F, that is the focal length of this lens. Focal length is often taken as the second focal length, and we know that focal length for convex lens is always positive, so that is why it is plus F and not minus F. So in the next step, what we are going to do over here is we are going to keep 1 upon X on one side and minus 1 upon D we are going to take on the other side. So 1 upon F plus 1 upon D. So cross multiply, you will get D plus F upon F D. Okay, so D I will take on the other side, D upon X, and F I'll just distribute over here in between this numerator. So it is going to be 1 plus D upon F because F and F will get cancelled and D upon F will remain over here. So now D upon X is nothing but the magnification which we have found out over here of the simple microscope in terms of this distance of distinct vision and the image distance. So let's substitute it over here. So this is nothing but magnification which will be 1 plus D upon F. So this is going to be your magnification in terms of this distance of distinct vision, that is the image distance D divided by the focal length of the lens which you have used. So what can you say from here? We can say that shorter the focal length, shorter is the focal length of the convex lens, the greater will be the magnifying power. The greater will be the magnification that you are going to receive over here. That is what we can say from this equation. That is the relation between magnifying power and the focal length. So now let us look at the second case, when the final image is formed at infinity. So why do we require this image to be formed at infinity? So in the first case, where the image was formed at the least distance of distinct vision, or at the near point, we call it, okay. So when the image was formed at the near point, it causes strain to the eye, okay. So often the object is placed at the focus of the convex lens so that the parallel rays enter the eye, okay. We'll draw the figure for it, we'll draw the ray diagram for it. The image which is formed at infinity, which is more suitable and comfortable for viewing by the relaxed eye, okay. So you can see the image which is formed at infinity with a relaxed eye as compared to the image which is formed at least distance of distinct vision, which was the first case, okay. So what we will have to do over here, we are going to have a convex lens, okay, and we are going to place our object at the focus now, okay. In the previous case, what we had done, we had placed our object between the focus and the optical center, so it was within the focal length. But here we are going to place our object at the focus, and the image will be formed at infinity, which is quite relaxing or quite comfortable for watching. So now this is the convex lens. I will consider a point which is the focus over here. I'll place my object at this point. So let my object be AB. Okay, so let us draw this ray diagram. So this is going to go parallel to the incident principal axis and pass through the focus on the other side. This is going to be the focus on the other side, something like this, okay, and the other ray is exactly going to pass through the optical center. So if you see, these are almost parallel rays which are emerging out. That means what? If you produce it behind, if you produce this rays behind, something like this, they are going to go on and they are going to meet. They are converging rays, but they are going to meet somewhere at infinity, very very far away, okay. So this has to be dotted rays. It's going to be a virtual image on the same side as that of the object. So these are going to come from infinity, okay, and the image will be formed at infinity. So this is going to be your focal length from here to here. This is going to be your focal length. This is your optical center over here, and you are going to watch from here. This is going to be your eye, okay. You are watching from this side. So this is the working principle when the final image is formed at infinity. So now let us look at the magnifying power of this simple microscope. So magnifying power here is defined as the ratio of the angle formed by the image when situated at infinity at the eye to the angle formed by the object at the eye when situated at the least distance of distinct vision. So let us first look at the numerator. So it is the ratio of angle formed by the image at the eye, okay. So angle formed by image at the eye, okay. So here we are going to use the same assumption that as the eye is held very close to the lens, the angle subtended by the lens may be taken as the angle subtended by the eye, okay. So the angle subtended by the lens to the image at infinity is going to be this angle. So let us take this angle as beta, okay. So this becomes the numerator, angle formed by the image at the eye, okay, that is beta, to the angle formed by the object at the eye when situated at the least distance of distinct vision. So if my object is situated at the least distance of distinct vision, that means supposing same object I am considering, I am drawing a separate diagram because I have to shift this object to the least distance of distinct vision. So let's say my eye is over here, that is, this is my eye over here. something like this. Okay, and this is the object AB, and my object AB is situated at a distance of D, that is least distance of distinct region from the eye. Okay, then the angle subtended by this object, that means it is going to be this angle. So let us mark this angle as alpha. Okay, so it is the angle formed by the object at the eye when it is situated at the least distance of distinct region. That means if I shift this over here at the least distance of distinct region, okay, what is going to be the angle? So just to avoid the complication in the figure, I have drawn it separately over here. Okay, so how will you write down the magnification power or magnifying power formula? So M is going to be equal to beta, as I have shown you over here in the figure. So it is going to be beta divided by alpha. And since alpha and beta are small angles, we can write it as tan of beta upon tan of alpha. So if you see this triangle ABO, if I say that the height of the object is h, okay, or you can keep it as AB also, no issues. So tan of beta is going to be opposite, that is AB you can write, or h, divided by the adjacent, that is OB, divided by, in this case tan of alpha is going to be again h or AB, upon it is again going to be D, that is the least distance of distinct region. Okay, it is going to be the least distance of distinct region because this object will be lying somewhere over here at a distance of D. Okay, so do not take this point B and B as the same. Okay, there are two different points. I have just shifted this AB over here, so B will come over here also. Okay, alright, so H and H will get cancelled from here, so what you will get over here is D upon OB. Okay, so OB, if you see, is nothing but the focal length. It is taken as F over here. Okay, so let's substitute. So magnification is going to be D upon F. Okay, so when the image is formed at infinity, the magnifying power is given by D, that is least distance of distinct region, divided by the focal length of that particular lens. So if you see this magnification, if you compare it with the previous case, when the image was formed at least distance of distinct region, the magnification was given by 1 plus D upon F in that case. So if you see, the magnifying power or the magnification in this case is 1 less than the magnification when the image was formed at least distance of distinct region. But the viewing over here will be more comfortable than the previous case. Okay, here it is going to be more comfortable. Okay, as compared to this case, but magnification you will receive in the previous case will be more because it is 1 plus D upon F and this is just D upon F. Okay, so magnification here will be more, here it will be less, but this is going to be more comfortable when the image is formed at infinity. Now let us look at the uses of simple microscope. So the first use of simple microscope, uses. So first use of simple microscope is it is used by watchmakers or jewelers. Okay, they make use of this magnifying glass for having a magnified view of the small parts of watches and the fine jewelry work. Okay, so if you have visited the workshop wherein they repair the watches or the workshop of a goldsmith, you must have seen this magnifying glass which they have. The second use is that in magnifying the printed letters in a book or texture of fiber or threads of a cloth, okay, engravings, detail of stems, so magnifying all these things, you can use the magnifying glass or a simple microscope. Okay, so second is in magnifying printed letters in book. So basically it is magnifying work. Okay, and the third application is magnifying glass is used in science laboratories for reading vernier scales. So used in science laboratories to read vernier scale. So vernier scale is an instrument to measure the length. Okay, so it has a fine scale on it. So to view it clearly, okay, properly and comfortably, we use the convex lens, that is magnifying glass, or the simple microscope in the laboratories. So these are the uses of simple microscope. So the next optical instrument that we have is the compound microscope. So compound microscope is a optical device which is used to magnify the objects, the tiny objects, okay. We are going to get the magnified images of a very small object which we cannot see with naked eyes also, okay. So that is a compound microscope. Coming to the construction of compound microscope is going to have two convex lenses. So it consists of two convex lenses. They are going to have short focal length, and these lenses are going to be arranged coaxially, okay, and at the ends of a sliding metal tube, okay, so that your the two convex lenses, the position can be adjusted, okay. So they are going to have a short focal length, and they are going to be arranged coaxially to each other, that is along the single axis. So these two convex lenses are going to have a specific length. So the first lens will be called as the objective. So the objective is the lens which is going to be kept near the object, okay, and this lens is going to have a shorter focal length as compared to both the lenses. Objective is going to have a shorter focal length and a smaller aperture, okay. So this lens is going to have short or a very short focal length and small aperture, and it is positioned near the object which is to be magnified. The second convex lens is called as the eyepiece or ocular. It is also called as ocular. So it is the convex lens which is going to have comparatively larger focal length compared to objective, okay. Otherwise both have small. So comparatively larger focal length, okay, which will be denoted by Fe, okay, the focal length of eyepiece, and here the focal length will be denoted by Fo, that is suffix O, that is focal length of objective, and also a larger aperture as compared to the objective. So here Fe is greater than F0. This you have to remember, that is focal length of eyepiece is going to be more than the focal length of objective. Eyepiece is going to be positioned near the eye. For viewing the final image which is formed. So objective is going to have a shorter focal length, a smaller aperture, and is positioned near the object which is to be magnified, and eyepiece is going to have comparatively larger focal length, larger aperture, and it is positioned near the eye for viewing the image which is formed. The distance between the two lenses can be varied, it can be changed by using rack and pinion arrangement, that is a gear arrangement which is there, okay. So rack and pinion arrangement is allowing you, is going to allow you to change the distance between the two lenses, that is objective and an eyepiece. So now let us see the working of this compound microscope. So here also we are going to have two cases. So in the first case is when the final image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision, that is 25 centimeter for a normal eye. So here, as you can see, we are going to have two lenses, as I told you. This is a compound microscope. So we are going to have two lenses of short focal lengths. So one is called the objective and one is called as the aperture. So as I told you, the objective is the one with very short focal length. So this is going to be the objective and it is going to have a small aperture. So let me write over here objective and this one is going to be the eyepiece. So my object will be placed near the objective, and the eyepiece is where my eye will be. From here I am going to view my image formed. So in this case, the object AB, which is to be viewed, is placed at a distance, let's say u0, okay, which is slightly larger than the focal length of the objective. So this is my objective. Let us say O is the optical center of the objective. So let us say that f0 is over here, which is the focal length of the objective, FO, okay, focal length of the objective on this side, and this side let us take the focal length of the objective over here, FO. So this is the first focal, it's a focus, right? So capital F0, this is the first focus, and this side is going to be your second focus. So let us put it as FO dash. This is the second focal length. So I'm going to place my object AB slightly at a greater distance than the focal length. So let us say that this is AB, this is AB. Let us say H is the height of the object. So let us see how the image will be formed. So as we know, the image which is going to be formed is going to be real, inverted and magnified, which is on the other side of the lens. Okay, so the ray is going to go like this and pass through the focus over here, like this. Okay, and the other ray is straight away going to go from the optical center. Something like this. Okay. Alright. So if you see, this is the point of intersection over here. This is the point of intersection over here. So my image of the objective is going to be formed over here. I'm yet to draw the ray. So let me draw the arrows first. So this is going to be arrows, okay, and this is going to be my image formed. So this image is of the objective, okay, so it is going to be, let's say, B dash A dash is going to be my image of the objective. So this image is going to be real, inverted and magnified image A dash B dash on the other side of the lens, that is objective. So now the separation between this objective and eyepiece, as I told you, can be adjusted. The distance between eyepiece and objective can be adjusted by using rack and pinion arrangement. So in a similar way, by using this arrangement, the separation between the objective and eyepiece is adjusted in such a way that the image A dash B dash, the image of this objective, that is A dash B dash, will lie within the focal length of this eyepiece. Okay, so let us say that this point optical center over here is E. So the arrangement will be such that the image form, that is A dash B dash of the objective, is going to fall within the focal length of the eyepiece. So the focal length of the eyepiece will mark over here. So focal length, this is going to be the second focal length of eyepiece. So FE dash, the first focus is going to be on this side, FE. So you will make sure that this image which is formed by the objective falls within the focal length of the eyepiece over here. So this image, that is A dash B dash, is going to act as the object for the eyepiece, which is essentially going to behave like a simple microscope. And what do we know? When the object is placed within the focal length of the convex lens, the image will be formed at the least distance of distinct vision. That is what we have seen as the first case in the simple microscope. When the object was placed within the focal length of that magnifying lens, the image was formed at D, that is least distance of distinct vision. That is what is going to happen over here, and the image will be formed at D. Okay, so how the image is going to be formed, let us draw. So the ray is going to go like this, okay, and another ray. So it is going to be a virtual image. which is going to be magnified. It is going to be something like this. So one ray is going to go like this, okay, which is going to be huge. Okay, this is not exactly to the scale, right? So it is not coming proper, but I'm just giving you an idea. And the second ray would be passing something like this, which is going to pass through the focal length. So I'll have to shift the focus a little bit. So this has to be passing through the first focus of the eyepiece, okay? And here you are going to receive your final image, which is going to be a virtual image with respect to the object at this point over here. So let us name this image, the final image which is formed. This rays has to be dotted, okay, because it is the virtual image. So this can be asked for drawing also, so you have to practice this. Okay, so this is going to be your final image, that is B double dash A double dash, okay, which is going to be formed at the least distance of distinct vision, that is the distance from here to here, from here to here. This distance is going to be capital D. So clearly, if you see the final image, that is A dash B dash, is going to be inverted image with respect to the object AB, okay, and it is going to be erect image with respect to the object A dash B dash, that is object of the eyepiece. So if you need to continue these rays over here this side, which are going to go to your eyes, when these are going to meet at the same point, that is this point, like this, okay, again these are going to be your dotted lines, okay. It's tough to draw the dotted lines now. So these are going to be your dotted lines again. These are the rays which are going to converge behind. Okay, so again these are going to be dotted, and these rays are going to go towards your eye. So you will be watching it from this side. This is your eye. So now let us look at the magnifying power. So now let us look at the magnifying power of this compound microscope when the image, the final image, is formed at the least distance of distinct vision. So before going to the magnifying power, let us make some markings over here in the figure. So let the object distance be u0. So let us take this distance. Let the object be placed at a distance of u0. Let the image be formed, the image of the objective be formed at a distance of v0, which is going to be almost close to the eyepiece, because eyepiece is going to have a, as we have assumed initially, as we have discussed, discussed initially, that the focal lengths of the objective and eyepiece are very small. So since A dash B dash falls within the focal length of the eyepiece and the focal length is very small, we can say that this image which is formed over here, that is A dash B dash, is formed very close to the eyepiece, because the focal length is short and the image is formed within the focal length. Okay, so we consider that A dash B dash lies very much close to the eyepiece, and this distance v0, that is the image distance, is same as the distance between the two lenses. Okay, that is going to be the assumption we are going to make in the further step. So let the object distance be u naught, or the distance at which the object is kept from the objective be u naught, and the image distance be v naught. Okay, the height of the object AB is h, the height of the image which is formed by the objective, let us say that is h dash, and the final image, let the height be h double dash. Okay, so these are the markings we require. So now coming back to the magnifying power. So magnifying power is defined as the ratio, it is defined as the ratio of angle subtended at the eye by the final virtual image. So final virtual image is a double dash b double dash. So here we are going to make the same assumption that as the eye is held very much close to the lens, the angle subtended at the lens may be taken as the angle subtended by the at the eye. Okay, so angle subtended at the eye will be same as the angle subtended at the lens. So I will consider that the angle subtended by the eye by the final image is beta, and that beta I will consider over here. That is angle subtended by the lens. It will be same. Okay, so this is beta, and the denominator will be what? To the angle subtended by at the eye by the object when the object is at, or when both are at, least distance of distinct region. So my image was already at the least distance of distinct region when I subtended this angle, that is beta, and the object also has to be at the least distance of distinct region. So let us draw a separate diagram over here. So let us say that this is my object AB, which I have kept at the least distance of distinct region D. Okay, and here is going to be my eye, on this side is going to be my eye. Okay, so this is height of the object, that is AB. Okay, so magnifying power M is going to be equal to beta, that is the angle subtended by the eye or the lens, okay, at the lens by the final virtual image which is formed, that is beta divided by the angle subtended at the eye by the object which is kept at least distance of distinct region, that is going to be alpha. Okay, so since alpha and beta are small, we can say that it is tan of beta upon tan of alpha. So what is going to be tan of beta? So if you see this triangle over here, E, B dash, A dash, tan of beta is going to be opposite, that is H dash, upon it is going to be the distance of the object for the eyepiece. So distance for the object of the eyepiece, let us say that it is UE, that is object distance for eyepiece. Okay, so let us put it as UE, okay, divided by tan of alpha is going to be opposite, from this figure you can see opposite, that is height, upon the adjacent, that is D. Okay, so what do you get over here? The magnification is going to be H dash upon UE multiplied by D upon H. So I can just rearrange this to say that M will be equal to H dash upon H multiplied by D upon UE. So now if I individually see the magnification of objective and the eyepiece, because this is going to be the combination of lenses, and we have already done the derivation for combination of lenses, wherein we have already seen that the total magnification of the combination of lenses is going to be the product of the individual magnifications M2 dot M3 and so on. If you have n number of lenses connected together, this is what we have already seen. So from that logic, the magnification over here, the total magnification is going to be the magnification of the first lens, that is objective, dot magnification of the eyepiece. We are going to multiply the individual magnifications over here. So let us find out the magnification of individual lens. So first let us take up the magnification of objective. Okay, so let me minimize this still more. Okay, so what is going to be the magnification of objective? So magnification of objective, if you see, it is nothing but what is the magnification formula? The height of image, that is height of image over here formed by objective, is H dash, divided by height of object, that is we have taken as h, will be same as the image distance, that is v naught upon u naught, that is object distance. This is the formula that we have seen. So now let us come to the magnification of the eyepiece. So magnification of eyepiece will be what? So as we know that eyepiece is going to behave like a simple microscope, wherein the image is formed at the least distance of distinct vision, that is the first case. And there we had seen that the magnification of that simple microscope was given by d upon the object distance. So in this case also the d, it is going to be d, that is the final image distance divided by the object distance. What is the object distance for the eyepiece? Individually it is, object is a dash b dash for the eyepiece. So object distance is going to be ue, which will be also equal to another formula in terms of d and focal length which we had found out. So it was 1 plus d upon the focal length of that simple microscope. So what is the focal length of this eyepiece over here? It is fe. So this was the formula which we got there. Okay. So from here, from this formula, what is going to be the magnification? It is nothing but v naught into u naught, the magnification of the objective, multiplied by the magnification of the eyepiece, that is going to be equal to 1 plus d upon f naught. So this is going to be the magnification using this formula. Okay. And if you see, it is nothing but the magnification which you got over here will be same as h dash upon h dash, upon h, that is m naught, multiplied by d into u, that is me. You get back the same thing. Okay, using this logic also, that is beta upon alpha. Using the definition also, you are going to get the same thing, and using the formula also, you are going to get the same thing. So now as the object AB, the object which we had considered over here, let us come back to the figure. So the object AB that we have considered over here is placed close to the focus. If you see, we had just kept it very much close to the focus of the objective. So you can consider this u naught same as the focal length. You can consider as same as the focal length f naught, because this point B and this point f naught dash is going to be very, very close to each other, because we had kept our object very close to the focus of that objective. So we can say that the object distance over here, that is u naught, is very much close to the focal length of the objective. And using the sign convention, that focal length is going to be negative because it is on the other side, it is on the left hand side of the lens. And if you look at the image which is formed, as I told you initially, the image which is formed over here is very much close to the eyepiece, because the image which is formed by the objective falls within the focal length of the eyepiece, and focal length of the eyepiece is very short. So we can consider that this image which is formed is very close to the eyepiece, and this image distance, that is v naught, can be considered as the tube length of the microscope. What is the tube length? The distance between the two lenses, the objective and the eyepiece, is the tube length. That is this distance between O and E. Distance between O and E. So the image distance, that is v naught, can be considered as the tube length of this microscope, that is distance between the objective and the eyepiece. So I can consider that v naught is going to be equal to L. Okay, so using this logic, m naught can be written as v naught is nothing but L, and u naught can be written as minus f naught. So if we substitute this in the formula, so m will be equal to what? It is going to be minus L upon f naught. I am just replacing v naught upon u naught by L upon minus f naught into 1 plus d upon f naught. So I just eliminated the terms v naught and u naught, that is image distance and object distance for objective. Okay, so this is going to be the magnification formula for the final image that is formed at the least distance of distinct vision. So this is it, this is the final formula. So now let us look at the second case under compound microscope, when the final image is formed at infinity. So what is going to happen over here? The object will be placed just near to the focus of the objective, and the image will be formed exactly at the focus of the eyepiece, because we want the image, the final image, to be formed at infinity. So if your eyepiece behaves like a simple microscope, where the object should be placed? The object should be placed at the focus of the simple microscope, so that the final image is formed at the infinity. So the distance is adjusted such that the image of the objective is obtained at the focus of the eyepiece, so that what is going to happen? The final image which is produced by the eyepiece will be produced at the infinity. Okay, so the image distance for the eyepiece is going to be infinity, and the object distance for eyepiece, that is UE for eyepiece, is going to be the focal length of the eyepiece, that is FE. Okay, so in this case the magnification of the objective is going to be h dash upon h. The linear magnification of the objective is going to be h dash upon h, which we have seen in the previous derivation. We got it finally as L upon minus f naught, so we are going to use the same over here. It will be equal to L upon minus f naught. But in this case, we had seen in the simple microscope, since this eyepiece is specifically behaving like a simple microscope wherein the image will be obtained at infinity, the angular magnification of the eyepiece by using those angles, okay, that is angular magnification we call it, the ratio of the angles subtended, okay, that will be given by what? It was given by D upon Fe, if you remember. The magnification of a simple microscope when the image is obtained at infinity is given by D upon Fe, that is the focal length of the simple microscope. Here the eyepiece is behaving like a simple microscope, so focal length of eyepiece. Okay, so the total magnification is going to be m naught into me, the product of the individual magnification. It is going to be minus L upon f naught into D upon Fe. This is going to be the magnification. So it is quite obvious from this equation that we have received that magnifying power of a compound microscope is going to be larger when both f naught as well as Fe is small. So if Fe and f naught are small, the denominators are small, that means that the magnifying power of the compound microscope is going to be larger. Okay, so if you produce this rays towards your eyes after refraction, they would be almost parallel to these rays. Okay, this would go towards your eye. If you produce this behind, this would also meet at the infinity. So these are going to go towards the infinity. Okay, and here you would be placing your eye wherein you can see your object. I mean the final image. Sorry, the final image. Okay, so now we need to remember few points over here. Okay, just as a revision. So the first point that you have to remember over here, that in a compound microscope, the objective is a convex lens of short focal length and a small aperture, while the eyepiece is a convex lens of short focal length and a large aperture, larger as compared to the objective. The second thing is you need to know over here is that in actual practice, each of the objective and the eyepiece is going to consist of combination of lenses. Okay, it won't be a single lens. Objective will be combination of lenses, as well as eyepiece is also going to be combination of lenses. And why it is done so? To reduce the chromatic aberration. We have already learned what is a chromatic aberration. So to reduce this chromatic aberration, the eyepiece as well as the objective, okay, will be used as a combination of lenses. It won't be just one lens. The third point you need to remember is that in a compound microscope, the objective and eyepiece are placed at a fixed distance apart. So for focusing on an object, the distance of the objective from the object is changed with the help of rack and pinion arrangement. Okay, so the distance can be varied by using rack and pinion arrangement as discussed. The next point is, for large magnifying power, to obtain a large magnifying power, both f0 and fe has to be smaller. As I told you over here, f0 as well as fe has to be smaller. Also Fe will be taken larger than F naught, so as to increase the field of view of microscope, so that microscope can cover a larger field. Okay, for that reason Fe will be taken larger than F naught. That is, the focal length of eyepiece will be comparatively larger than F naught, so that the microscope can have a larger field of view. Next point is, when the final image is formed at the least distance of distinct region, that is the previous case which we saw over here. Okay, you will see that the tube length, okay, the tube length is going to be the addition of V naught plus UE. Okay, the tube length over here is going to be V naught plus UE. That is, when the final image is formed at the least distance of distinct region, the length of the compound microscope L is going to be V naught plus VU. And when the final image is formed at the infinity, that is this case over here, okay, in this case over here, what is going to be the tube length over here? The tube length will be equal to V naught plus Fe. So L over here is going to be equal to, if you see, that is the V naught, that is the image distance of objective, plus the focal length, because the image of the objective will be formed at the focus of eyepiece, so this becomes the focal length, so it is going to be plus Fe. So these are the points to be remembered under compound microscope.